everybody. I'm Dylan.
I'm Elle.
And we both love soup. We are fresh back from Miranda's wedding.
It was an event.
Oh, yes, it was. I need a vacation from my vacation.
Wedding. Yeah, definitely.
Wedding planning
it's
vacation.
exhausting.
Yeah, but I still feel like I'm just finally getting my voice back and just decompressing. Today was first day back at work, which was brutal.
You said that was very hard.
In retrospect, I probably should have just taken the Thursday, Friday off, but I was like, oh, how hard will 2 days be?
I worked all week, but I don't know.
And you were back.
I didn't work that hard. You and I went for a bike ride to Krispy Kreme on, was it Tuesday?
Yeah, those donuts were stale.
Donuts were so stale. So we ride our little booties off to go to get a Krispy Kreme donut, and they were stale.
It's
nothing worse than a stale Krispy Kreme.
Exactly. Oh, that'll serve us right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Krispy Kreme's kind of let us down these last couple times.
I think so. It was a bummer.
But wedding. So we're going to spend the entire show talking about weddings.
So if you don't care about the wedding,
tap out.
Yeah.
But we're going to go full on wedding. I'm going to start off with drink of the show. Something
we did not drink enough of at the wedding.
Drink of the show is water.
Yeah, we did not drink enough water up there.
We need lots of water.
Yeah, so
not that we drank necessarily too much alcohol, but just with the altitude.
I did. I drank
and
too
the
much
heat.
alcohol.
Should have been drinking a lot more water. I am drinking a lot of water this week to rehydrate.
She knows I have this problem where I'm constantly drinking, and I always have water with me everywhere I go. Well, I did not bring my big Stanley
You
cup.
drink more water than any human I know.
I know. Well, I'm constantly thirsty. It's like I'm diabetic or something. But I bring my little Stanley cup with me everywhere I go. Well, I didn't want to bring my Stanley cup to the wedding. So what did I drink? I drank.
Whatever was there.
Whatever was there. I had several lavender margaritas. I had several light beers. I had everything.
Cougar Bubbly.
I had Cougar Bubbly. I even had a sip of the gross bourbon drink. Yeah, I hate bourbon.
The Woodford's bourbon drink.
I think I grabbed it right out of Brett's hand and was like, "Let me have a drink," because I was on the dance floor and I was like, "I'm dying. I need hydration." I never did see where the water was all night. That was a
big Hankin silver thing. It almost looked like a coffee.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it all night.
We're going to talk about the things that went well
and the things that didn't go well.
We could have improved on, and then things that we just wasted our money on. It's kind of way we're going to flow it.
Yeah.
But
all right, let's start on good things.
So we're going to start on good things. Right off the bat, you've heard us talk about Miranda had 2 dresses. So the first dress she wore was for the cocktail hour, and it was my old 80s dress.
And it looked fantastic.
It was dynamite.
It was
awesome. Adorable.
Except she forgot the shorts underneath.
Yes.
And it was windy.
It was very windy, and she was doing a little bit of the Marilyn Monroe thing going on. So she had to kind of keep her hand down there. Even though I kept saying, here's your little bike shorts, here's your bike shorts, she forgot them. If I was a good mom, it would have been in my emergency pack. Here's a pair of bloomers. But no.
Granny bloomers, because that's what you want to wear on your wedding, right?
Yeah, but no, they were cute ones.
Yeah.
So adorable. It was a great icebreaker, too, because people, were like, you could tell.
That was your dress? Yeah.
Some were first thinking, like, that's her wedding dress. Because, it was pretty, it would have been avant-garde to be just the wedding dress.
Yeah.
Then when they realized what it was and that she was changing and that it was my former dress, it just took on this whole new thing.
Right.
And it was really nice then when she changed into the very natural gown, which, by the way, when we had told you before about shopping, we had gone to that great bridal place called Grace Loves Lace, where Elle and I were like, oh, these dresses.
The dresses were beautiful. The locale was beautiful.
The fabrics.
If you live anywhere in the San Diego area and you're planning a wedding, go to Grace Loves Lace. Or if there's more, there might be more.
Yeah.
It's an Australian place, so there might be more of them. It was just an experience. It was lovely.
And I'll admit, when we first were doing this, I was a tad bit disappointed she didn't pick one of those because I personally was in love with them. It would have been the wrong dress for this venue.
Oh, yeah.
It would have picked up burrs and grass, and it wasn't right for this venue.
She was doing the worm in her dress.
Yes.
So, you wouldn't have wanted to do the worm necessarily in the $5,000 dress.
And with the gusty
couple
wind,
$100 dress that she bought was perfect.
You wouldn't have wanted that wind.
Yeah.
Would have been a disaster.
And a lot of them had big, long trains.
Yes,
yeah.
It would have just...
So the dress choices were perfect.
So perfect. She almost had one wardrobe malfunction because the seamstress modified her wedding dress so that she could lift her arms for all of her dancing, because it was like a weird kind kind of restrictive. But in doing that, she took out the structure that held the top up. So as long as it stayed on her shoulders, she was good. Well, during the dip in their first dance song, you can see in the video, the shoulder slips and she manages to take
She
her
almost
arm.
had a nip slip.
She almost had a nip slip. And that would have been, thank goodness for cakes.
Yeah, that's true.
So at least the cakes would have been covering the nip slip. But
Yeah.
other than that, she was comfortable in it. It looked great. It flowed well and so fit the venue.
It was perfect for the
And
venue.
like Elle said, she was crunking and doing the worm, and it's nice that it wasn't a $10,000 beaded gown.
Like she had no qualms about getting down
No, getting down
on
with
the
that
dance
dress.
floor in her dress, and she looked awesome
Yes.
the whole night. She
Dress
was gorgeous.
was dynamite.
She had zero time to get ready, which is amazing. This is the thing. If you're planning a wedding, a family wedding, make sure the bride has time to herself before the wedding. And unfortunately, there was just so much to do. This is the kind of the theme when you're doing a backyard garden wedding or whatever. You end up. I told you, my mom ended up in the hospital twice. Both of my sisters got married.
I could
And,
see myself
yeah.
having gone to the hospital.
It is. It's stressful. You're always running. There's always things to be done. You're constantly.
And people are, as much as I tried to not ask her questions, and I think we were good about that, everybody was asking her questions.
Yeah.
Miranda's,
Where
where's
do-
this?
where do you want this? What do you want
and
this?
you can't just say, go figure that out.
Yeah.
She would then be like, solve the problem. She literally was digging up something and broke a nail. The
Right
bride
before
should
the
not
wedding.
be breaking the nail on
yeah.
her wedding day.
Yeah.
But
it was just it was a lot of work.
It was a lot.
It was a
And
lot
she
of work.
literally got ready. The room she was supposed to get ready in.
Oh, somebody had a migraine.
Yeah, the caterer. And so she was sitting there, and I went up and I thought we were going to be doing like a photo shoot where I'm putting grandma's pearls on her. No, that didn't work. It was like she's scrambling, looking for stuff. She's like, okay, I guess this is lip color. Okay, I'll do that.
And her biggest
what should I
argument
do?
of previous weddings that she'd been to was that the bride and groom are disappear for photos and
Yeah.
that they're not there. And I know that was weighing heavy on her mind. She just wanted to disappear, do a quick wardrobe change, and get right back up to the venue. And so for her to not have that time to herself to like, even before the wedding, before
Yeah.
the wardrobe change, to like get dressed and put her makeup on, and she looked gorgeous. It didn't matter what she
so natural.
Yeah.
Like, as even Ed was like, was she wearing any makeup at all? And it's like, well, then obviously she perfected the no makeup.
Yeah. It's funny, my niece, I feel the same way. My niece got married in Roswell, New Mexico. It was hot as bejeezers. They got married in the groom's parents' backyard. Beautiful wedding. But again, like an hour before the wedding, I was at her house putting together flowers with her, and she
That
had,
was
I
like
don't think
this.
she was wearing makeup, and she barely, I think she got it at the shower. I'm not even sure she dried her hair. Like, and she looked gorgeous because she's gorgeous anyway. But like, it's interesting that the bride never really has enough time
Well,
to
she
themselves.
wanted to go back and take a shower, didn't have time. So, but it turns out her hair looked good because it was like day 2 hair after the rehearsal dinner. So the
Right.
curls had softened a little bit. She's like, it happened to work out, but she goes, I was intending to take a shower. And
yeah.
and it just didn't work that way.
Yeah.
So planning best laid plans.
Yeah.
That went
But
sideways,
if at
it
all
worked out.
possible, planning these kind of weddings, make sure the bride has an hour at least before the wedding.
She
to,
was
like,
literally
actually
saying,
get ready.
what should I do with my hair? Maybe I take a little rubber band, do this, and I'll put some clips in. If it that just, and then she's asked going through the rooms, like, has anyone got any clips? It's like it was that ill prepared.
Wow.
I know, but
Yeah. Oh,
that
well.
wasn't what she stressed about. So her dress, dynamite.
She was the least bridezilla bride I've ever, well, my niece too, but like,
Yeah.
just not, she was super easygoing about anything. She got a little stressed because the wind and,
Yes,
which
the
we'll get to, but like,
wind was
yeah.
not our friend.
Anyway, keep going. Good stuff.
So
good stuff.
second thing, our dresses were dynamite.
We looked fantastic.
We looked fabulous.
I
we
looked
picked
fabulous.
the right dresses. We were comfortable in them.
I did,
It was
yes.
right for the venue.
I had pockets.
She had pockets. I didn't have pockets.
I had pockets.
But I would call our dresses.
I was comfortable all night. Even though it was very warm, I wasn't overly hot because I had a shorter dress on with no sleeves. Yeah, I was very comfortable. I was happy
And
with
our
my
dresses had patterns.
Yeah.
Such that our little, boob sweat or humidititties weren't showing.
Yes, no humidities were shown.
Yeah.
at least.
And So you couldn't see us sweat.
Yes.
You didn't get
Nobody,
any of that.
don't let them see you sweat. And we did not.
But as much as we thought our dresses were phenomenal, there was very clearly a best dressed
Oh my
guest.
God. I walked right. I didn't even know who she was. Had no idea who she was. I walked right up to her and I was like, I love your dress.
And it turns out, so it is Jazz Turner from her sorority, and she was the one who introduced Miranda and Brett for the blind date.
And she's a gorgeous, gorgeous girl anyway. Like she
Darker
could look,
skinned.
she could look great in a
And
burlap
it
sack,
was-
but like the dress was
We're gonna have
amazing.
to post a picture. So, and here's the funny thing: I found out later in talking to Jazz, because I went up to her. I said, "Universally, you have been voted best dressed guest," and she goes, "Last night I was telling Miranda, oh my God, I packed a dress that makes me look like Minnie Mouse. I don't know, I didn't pack a good dress. It was
She's wrong.
red with white polka dots, and it had kind of an asymmetrical top, and then like
One shoulder.
a flat kind of laying bow on the one side, and
And it
then
was
over
a
the shoulder.
full length, like
But it was cotton.
yes. So it breathed well,
It-
moved well.
It looked
It was,
dynamite on
it was
her.
so pretty.
Dynamite
There were a
on
lot
her.
of really pretty dresses. I was commenting. Many
Yeah.
people had really pretty
But
dresses.
hers, hands down.
Bella and I wearing the same dress almost. Hers was a different print, but it was the same designer, same pockets, same style, like everything about it. I was like,
That's
oh,
true.
Yeah. I'm like, okay.
So, yeah,
although
we-
she's
We knocked
40
it out
years
of the
younger
park
than me,
with,
so
with ours. We'll talk about when we get to the negatives of that. DJ and the music were
Awesome.
outstanding, crowd pleasing, despite
couldn't-
working in the most
I
adverse
can't-
conditions.
I can't stress enough how great Zach did on this wedding, and everything down to like the timing. Like, okay, everyone, it's time to go get ready for the ceremony. Okay, everyone, dinner is served. We're going to be calling up table numbers. Okay, everyone.
Happy birthday to Linda.
Yeah, happy birthday to Linda. And then it's time for the mother daughter. No,
Mother son dance.
no, the
father-daughter.
father-daughter dance. I don't know why I couldn't come up with that. Anyway, it was fantastic. The music was awesome. Even though he had to load all of this music ahead of time, there was no internet out
No
there.
internet, no power. So he's running off a generator
that he had to keep
be
refilling
filling with gas.
Yes.
And he had to be concerned about not overloading the generator.
Right.
He's out in the heat. Now, he did have to easy up over him, but the wind was, to say it was torrential
It was awful.
would be an understatement. It was,
Oh, and he had altitude sickness the whole
Yeah,
time. So yeah,
altitude sickness.
Zach did great. We were trying to help him. Zach, do you need anything? Do you need like what do you need? But yeah, it was a lot of work for him. Did you get to have fun at all? Did you have fun at all? Okay, good. Because you worked
the last
so hard.
hour and a half, you actually got to be and use your DJ deck and really break it out. You know, please the crowd. By about 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, the older folks were dispersing, and then we brought out the light sticks and the
and
kids,
the house music.
House
yeah,
music.
it was fun.
Yeah.
And then just the layout of the music, and I don't know if that was Miranda's choice or your choice, but like it started with sort of like a lot of older cool tunes that those of us that are older would enjoy
in our 40s and 50s.
and then kind of into the 80s stuff that Dylan and I were dancing to, and then it went into like the current music, like that everybody kind of likes, because if you're listening to current music, and then the kids like, and then the house music, so it was like super dancey later. I danced all night. I could hardly walk the next day.
Thank God Ed and Miranda fixed that dance floor, because when we first got there on Wednesday, I almost had a breakdown. I almost cried because I just saw how
much
undone
work.
things were still
Yeah.
left to do, and I was like, there's just no way that we're not going to be able to get this done. And I mean, we're literally spackling and sanding the dance floor. Ed repainted the whole thing.
And which looked fantastic. When you described it as, oh no, it's just like plywood on the ground, like plywood pieces, I was expecting like a concrete slab for some reason. And I'm so glad it wasn't a concrete slab, because that would have killed my legs and my back. As it was, like the
It had give.
it actually had some give, and because you had painted it, it was smooth.
Well,
like
when we first got there, some of the boards were up like
yeah,
this.
that's what
Ed
you were
had
saying.
To go around
And he puttied
nail it,
and
puttied
nailed
it.
and
And the other
painted.
thing is, Elle had left over from trying to make some drapes years ago.
Yeah, we were trying to make drapes around our spa.
I'm going to go with 15 yards of
It
fabric.
was 30 yards.
30 yards of
30
fabric,
yards
of
of fabric.
white semi-sheer or cream semi-sheer fabric that she had just given us, saying, maybe you can use this. So we wound up swagging it through the top of the pergola.
Yeah.
And then stringing LED lights.
It
was
looked beautiful.
gorgeous.
It looked
and
beautiful.
then they hung a little,
We had
little
disco
mirror
ball and
It took this jank when I saw it on Wednesday. Seriously, janky looking.
Yeah.
Danger, like nails sticking up, and turned it into a dance floor that was never empty.
By the time we got there on Friday at noon, it was beautiful. I mean, you guys had done so much work because you were kind of freaking out when I talked to you on Thursday night that there was so much work to do, and there was still work to be done on Friday, but it was beautiful. The location was gorgeous.
Yeah, the backdrop. So
the mountains.
I can't wait to see the professional pictures. Even the ones that people took on their iPhones are just showing. And that was what Miranda wanted. Just the pure nature of it all. It so fit them.
Yeah.
I of course, would see all the flaws. Like I knew where we hid the garbage that we moved out of the way.
Right.
But like to anyone else walking up, that wasn't seen. And that was my personal problem.
Yeah. It was beautiful.
The food, after you've heard me in our couple episodes about that, Linda came
was
through.
Fantastic.
Now, how that all happened, it's best I probably don't know.
Yeah.
But we did not order pizzas. We had really, really good food.
Really good food.
The menu was great. The appetizers were awesome. The food she made. Now, it was an hour
appetizers.
late.
You didn't have any appetizers either,
Because I'm scurrying around.
Oh, yeah.
The one negative is it was an hour late. Thank goodness we did do really substantive appetizers because there wound up being a medical emergency.
Yeah.
One of the things we did not think through, and those of you who are doing weddings at any altitude, that most people come in day before at best, and altitude sickness is a real thing.
Right.
And coupled with it was high 80s.
It was very warm.
It was sunny, and it's at 7,000 feet. I'd say quite a few guests weren't feeling well, some so not well that they collapsed. And one of the Merrill family members collapsed during family pictures, and so we did have to call the EMTs.
Yeah.
She's fine once
and
they
that was like
hydrate her.
right between the ceremony and the dinner, and so that really kind of derailed the
We
schedule.
had to use, the EMTs were coming through the house, so it disrupted the kitchen.
Yeah.
So food was delayed. But one of the things that Miranda had done, which was another, I think, really big win, she had created this activity newspaper. And so it was a newspaper that was like 3 pages. It told the story of how they met. It had lots of pictures. It had some puzzles.
Word search.
That's
what I was doing while we were waiting for food.
It had the pictures, find the 10 things different. Mm-hmm. It had the 8 pictures from the 8 years of their relationship.
It was really cute.
Really cute newspaper. And we had pens on the table, gave people something to do.
Right.
We also had gone around to each person and handed them note cards.
Except me.
To write a letter.
I never did write a note card.
To bride and groom for them to open in a year.
Right.
And so we collected, I think she had 45 of those.
And then we had a little mailbox. It was cute. It was very cute.
Casey installed the mailbox.
Yep.
So those activities, and coupled with the pretty hearty appetizers and free-flowing booze, made it so people weren't quite so like, where the heck is the food? Where's the food? Because it was over an hour late, and it was great. Between the chicken and the beef and the ravioli and the mashed potatoes,
and
and
the
a really
salad,
good salad.
really good salad.
Like
I was happy because I don't eat the chicken and the beef, but there was plenty to eat for somebody like us. So it was great for us. That ravioli was really good.
And another thing, which I would highly recommend to anyone getting married. So notoriously, wedding cake tastes like shit, and it tastes like shit because to make a cake of that height, it's built over days. So often by the time a wedding cake arrives,
it's really stale.
It's like 3 days old, even though it's covered in fondant or whatever. Wedding cake in
fondant
general
tastes like shit too. That's
is
the
not
other
good.
thing. Yeah.
What they went and did is they bought nothing bundt cakes. So they bought a big one and then a small one went on top, so it looked like a little tier. It was decorated with flowers, and then they had boxes of the buntinis,
little buntinis,
which were in little paper cups. So while they did the little cake cutting of their bundt cake, they then stood behind the little bar and people walked up in line and they got to choose. Did you want a gluten-free buntini? Did you want red velvet? Did you want chocolate? Did you want vanilla? Did you want? And they had all the different flavors.
It was
they
great.
got to talk to the people while they gave them a buntini or a slice from the regular cake. Total win. The nothing bundt cake, I think, was $2.25, way less than any wedding cake would be, and tasted delicious. And
I've been to weddings
loved it.
that do cupcakes, and I feel like cupcakes are another good response. So you have a small wedding cake that's for the cutting and the pictures and all of that, but then cupcakes are a great
It was the right
option.
amount of food. Some
because
people
it's
came back for seconds.
you don't really want more than a cupcake's worth of cake anyway. So and that's what basically this was about, the size of a cupcake.
It didn't require utensils because it was in the cute little cup.
Yeah.
Such a win.
Love
Recommend
those.
it. Our friends got a wedding they're going to be hosting at their house. I'm going to, on my list of these are things you must do, I'm going to highly recommend do the nothing bundt cake. Even if you do like a wedding cake, don't make a big gaudy thing that has to feed 100 people. Get a picture worthy one, but use the bundt cakes or cupcakes. Another big win, which I got to give a shout out to my husband Ed for doing, is, and we saw this idea on like Pinterest, or Zola told us about it. It was a company that did it, and he's like, oh my God, I can do that. And what it is he created a website in which the QR code to link to the website was in the newspaper. And it was a place for everyone to upload their pictures that they took the day of.
Right.
So as everyone's shooting their pictures on their iPhones, there's no internet there, of course, but they were then able to, when they got back to their hotels and whatever, upload all their pictures. And we kept reminding people. We got 400 pictures uploaded.
Yeah.
And Miranda the next day had so much fun reviewing them. And you get to see a side of the wedding that, especially me, that was so mired in doing a lot of other stuff. I could see people
From the guest's perspective. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, it was really, really cool. And it also enables them to look at pictures. So when you go to weddings, one of the things Miranda had noticed was she never got to see any of the pictures other than the ones the bride and groom curated and posted to their social media.
Right.
You never get to see what all the photographer took, and unless you were friends with the people who were shooting the pictures, you didn't really get to see those.
Right.
Everybody. It's my mom. My mom is trolling the pictures from the sorority girls and getting to see that side of it. Or the pictures that my brother took, or the pictures that someone else took. They're all out there. And people can all download them.
Yeah.
So couple little things we
really
learned
great
about
one.
it. Don't let the sorting feature be the high-res image. So he's going to update that and have it be thumbnails. So he's got a couple little tweaks he can make to it. But it's super cool.
Yeah.
And Miranda's calling it like the best.
I swear
part
it
of
could be like a business for Ed. He could.
Yeah. Well,
do
it's this
this.
other company makes it a business and they charge you to do it.
Yeah.
And he's like, it was all customized. He didn't allow videos, but he absolutely could. He's
Yeah,
like,
I know. The video would be I would like to see some videos.
Yeah.
So that would be a nice
she's got
touch.
some that her friends have sent her. And then when they get the professional pictures, they're going to put them up there too. So everybody's going to
Gets
get to
see them all. Yeah.
the professional pictures.
That'll be nice.
So that photo upload site was a huge win. I'm going to encourage my husband to market that. Another thing that was a almost necessity win and was an afterthought because of the heat. Miranda had ordered parasols, little paper wooden parasols
Really
from
pretty
Amazon.
little paper
They weren't
wooden.
the cheapest things. So
Yeah.
she only had gotten 25 of them. In retrospect, we wish we had more. And with the intense heat and all, the parasols were a huge
They
hit.
went fast.
And they made for really adorable pictures because
Yeah.
people were spinning them. And
Yeah.
yes. So if you're having any kind of outdoor wedding or any part of your wedding
Because we
that's
didn't
outdoor,
have a ton of shade. There was one big tree.
Yeah.
And then under the pergola there was shade, but other than that, and under the bar.
Under the bar.
But other than that, the whole wedding and everything else was
Yeah.
in the sun, and it was
we're in a
warm.
heat wave across the United States right now.
Yeah.
And even though compared to other areas, 89 is not bad, it was hot.
It was warm.
It was hot. So that's why I think we had so many people getting sick.
I was
too, is
happy to be in my short dress with my no sleeves and all of that.
altitude and
overheating.
overheating.
No water.
And then the really, really gusty winds were super.
Yeah, the
parasols.
wind actually kind of helped keep the heat down a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was still very warm, especially if you were anywhere out of the wind.
The other thing they did, which was for a while there, she was at first regretting it, and then afterwards like, oh, that was a big deal. So when she rented her tables and the chairs and all the linens from the company, they had offered these giant letters, and they said, "Oh, do you want to do your initials?" And it was an M and a B, and they were like these wooden initials. And she's like, "Sure." She thought the price was $150 for all. It turns out it was $150 per letter.
Ooh.
She saw it in the invoice. She almost canceled it, and she's like, "Oh, screw it." It turned out to be the cutest
They're
thing because
really cute.
it lit up.
Yeah.
And they were big.
Yeah.
Everyone was posing in front of them. It sort of anchored that part of the venue. So worth the $300-400 that those
Yeah.
things cost.
Really cute.
They were really cute.
And really great at night. So like
Yes.
even before the wedding, when it was still daylight, they were cute. And then at night when they were lit up, everybody was going back over for more photos at night. It was cute.
So those letters was at first a regret, wound up being a wow, that was awesome. Mm-hmm. Another good thing that we'd recommend is She ordered on Amazon's glow sticks, but not the kind like you crack. They were like foam and had LED lights
long.
in them.
Yeah, or the big long thing.
And she ordered like, I think it was a box of like 100 of them came for like $30. It was really inexpensive. They already came with the batteries. We just pulled the tabs out. They were super fun.
They were really
Everyone loved the little glow sticks, and they weren't, like the ones where you break and it could be a mess.
Yeah.
Glow sticks.
Probably didn't need nearly as many of them
They
as
just
she
came
did, but
in
like
a box of 100.
But they were fun. Yeah, especially late at night with the house music. It was very fun to have.
And I'd say the last thing we'll talk about that was a really positive. I think we've mentioned it previously. So my husband wound up getting a hairpiece.
Yeah.
And he wore his hairpiece. He's had his hairpiece on for the last 2 weeks. It looked great.
And he had a snazzy suit.
He had a great suit.
Ed was looking
He had
good.
a Calvin Klein suit with a pink tie that picked up the pink in my dress. And he had his hairpiece on. And it looked great.
Yeah, all the Schultzes were looking good.
And we didn't get a single.
And you didn't get a
picture.
single picture of the 4 of you even, or
Nope.
now 5 with
Nope.
Brett. No,
We didn't.
Oh my
Didn't.
gosh.
That's going to be our next part when we talk
Yeah, the
about
regrets.
the expectation versus reality
regrets.
moments, the regrets section.
I hate the
But yeah,
regrets.
Ed's hair for as expensive, and I know he's not comfortable with it. He already peeled it off, and wound up shaving his head, and is now going back to his baseball cap. But he promises that when I want him to wear it for looking a little better, he will put it on. He had worn it for 2 weeks straight.
Yeah.
And was finally getting used to it. He was having to do the tap your weave because it would be itchy.
I imagine it would be kind of hot.
Yeah,
and
but he
especially in the heat.
showered with it, and it was really low maintenance.
Yeah.
Relative to
Did he
to
have a
how
bike
great
with
looked.
it on? I don't think he did.
He did.
Did he?
Yeah, he
Oh, he
biked. He pickleballed with it.
Oh
Wore
yeah,
a
he did
hat with
pickleball.
it.
I remember
yeah.
we played pickleball with it.
So it was just took some getting used to, because here's a man who's been bald for
yeah.
quite a while.
Yeah.
But it looked great, and like those who didn't know, even like my mom did a double take. She's like, is Ed wearing a hairpiece? Because like she knows he's bald, but he's always wearing a baseball cap.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like this. Oh, Ed's got a piece on, and it blended really well.
It more took me a moment when the first time I saw it, just because I'm so used to seeing him in a baseball cap. Like you just don't see him
without a cap.
Without a cap on, yeah.
So-
But yeah, he looked great.
Thought that
He
was
looked
awesome.
tired. That's both
Well,
of you guys looked
yes.
really tired.
So now
That-
we'll get into I'm not going to call them bad things, but
Regrets.
regrets. All the days we'd been there, and all the days Miranda has been up there, it's rarely that windy. It wound up
it's
getting
crazy windy.
epically windy.
Yeah.
And the day of the wedding, Elle and I spent hours in the morning. We had the table settings looking divine.
We were
watched
folding. We watched a video to figure out how to fold the napkins.
tuck the newspaper, tie it real pretty, put the silverware. Our place settings, our centerpieces were gorgeous. Everything.
We had it all ready to go, and we were like, okay, it looks great. Let's go. It's noon. Let's go back to the hotel and relax.
1 o'clock. What can only be described as gale force winds arrived. So much so they flipped all the tablecloths out, even
One
moved
of the tables. Yeah.
knocked over the arbor for the altar or the ceremony altar. I mean, it was bad.
Yeah.
Miranda calls me. I was just went
Little
back to the
panicked,
hotel.
yeah.
Mom, what are we gonna do? I'm like, we'll be back. We wound up having to basically anchor the tablecloths on. Had to take all the decorations off,
Yeah.
and during the ceremony, they're trying to use a mic. The wind was blowing so ferociously, it was causing the mic to cut out.
Yep.
And it was windy. People's dresses are flying up. You couldn't put your drink down because it would tumble.
A whole bottle of wine.
Whole bottles of full wine
Tipped
were
over.
tipping over with the wind.
Yeah.
So fighting the wind was tough. And even if you ask Miranda to name one thing that she's like, she's gonna probably say, I wish it
wind.
wasn't so windy.
Yeah. That was out of our control.
Yeah, that was a problem. And then, as you heard us talk about, altitude is a bitch.
Yeah.
Never in our plans did we ever think, there's going to be people who are not going to be feeling well.
I guess I am never affected by that. You and I, we have the constitutions that we're strong like bull. We just don't have those things. We never get food sick, except you recently. But we just don't think about those things. I don't get headaches. We don't think about those things. And it took down a lot of people.
We arrived on Wednesday, and Zach and Ed was feeling like he was having a grabber, and he was laying in bed on Wednesday night going, I really don't feel well. Zach didn't. So by the time the wedding came, though, it was day 3, and Zach was finally feeling a little more climatized.
Yeah.
But like people like my mom and my brother's wife, and then the woman who collapsed, they had only come that day before, and it took them down.
If you're just not you're not used to it, you live at sea level, or you're you know, anything like that, you're just one of those people. Like I have a cousin who gets car sick. That was so far out of my wheelhouse. Like I don't even remember that. Like, oh yeah, she has to ride in the front seat if she's visiting. Like I don't remember those things, but she does. She cannot ride in the back seat of a car. She will get car sick. That is just, it's just something I don't even think about, and that is one of the.
And so while we had one full-on medical emergency, my brother's wife had to be brought back to the hotel. I later found out a lot more people were not well.
Yeah.
There was probably 10 people who were like, I'm really not well.
I don't think there was anything we could have done about that. No. Like maybe drinking a little more water, offering more water might have helped people a bit, but I don't know that water helps that much. It's a I don't know what it is. Like, why do some people are more susceptible to altitude
and it
sickness?
seems to like people that it was affecting more the older people, but it wasn't exclusive to older people. I mean, Zach got
Tracy's not old, and
I mean, we think of ourselves as young, but she's she's 53,
our age, or younger than us, but
she's a little younger than us.
Yeah.
And that leads to another one that we should have done. This is more of a room for improvement. We had water at the venue. It wasn't overly promoted.
I did
or
not
labeled.
notice it. We couldn't
should
find
have
it.
Been handing out shots of water. I mean, just kind of like, guess what, everyone? It's water time.
Yeah, we should have had Zach like on the hour. It should have been. It's time for a tweener, or something, just to
really
drink
been
more
advertising
water.
the water,
because a lot of us were like, I was drinking alcohol because I could not find anything else to drink. There were no seltzers
there was a whole
in the
thing
cooler.
Of iced tea, and there was iced tea.
There was tea.
There was iced tea.
God.
I know.
I really missed out on that. Yeah, definitely needed some name tags or some tags for that.
Don't underestimate. We had then Pellegrino on the table, for that, but the jug.
There were Pellegrinos on the table.
Yeah.
How did I miss that too? In my defense, in your defense, I might not have been paying that close of attention to the water because I had a few drinks by that time. I started out, I think I had a I had a Coors before anybody got there.
Yeah.
And then champagne, couple glasses of champagne, and then I started in on those margaritas, and I had several of those, and then I switched back to beer.
Elle drank for both of us because I
did.
wound up. People would hand me a drink, and I'd take a couple sips of it, but I just felt like I had to keep my wits completely about me.
Drink for two.
Yes.
I was drinking for two.
She was drinking for two.
Yeah.
But the lavender margarita tasted great. I thought it was
delicious.
Good.
Yeah.
The whiskey drink was good.
It was even tolerable. Like the sip I had of Brett's was really good.
So we did have the right amount of alcohol. At the end of the night, the only thing that was left was like 4 bottles of red
wine. Yeah.
And I'm glad because many of the youngins, were a little over reserved, and we had a whole carpool thing. But if we had had more free flowing,
it would have been worse.
They would have drank it,
and I probably would have too. And I
was
actually
taking shots of the whiskey.
By the end of the night, I was searching. I had my hand in every cooler trying to find something light to drink. And I finally came across a cooler with Bud Lights, and I grabbed one for me and one for Zach, and that was the last thing I drank at the night.
So you could argue maybe we didn't have enough, but I think
it was the perfect.
More, it would have been problematic.
I think it was the perfect amount.
Yeah, for that, and
more waters or seltzers, more sodas maybe might have been.
Yeah. Also, the wedding went 2 hours longer than
it was
scheduled.
supposed to. Yeah.
Partly because the food was shifted with the whole emergency, but they were having so much fun.
Yeah.
And
it was not it wouldn't have ended at all until Zach said, "All right, it's time to move this party
back to the casino," and then they all went out to the to a bar like at the casino, whereas we were all like, I had this great after party outfit I never got to wear. We have to go somewhere I can wear my after party outfit.
I had a nice after party outfit.
I have a cute little cabbie squirts and the top. And
not going to happen. All right, well, let's find a reason to go out after midnight. After midnight.
So the other thing that that made things quite difficult was there was no cell or internet service.
Yeah, that was tricky.
Something as simple as, where's so-and-so, and I need to call them, or my mom is trying to reach me for something, or the people delivering the porta potties.
Where is that
service.
wine that we set aside for your mom?
You would have
and things like
we
that.
were literally driving around in the town. Oh, there's so-and-so, I need them. And flagging people down, physically flagging them down, makes for planning and setting Really, really difficult.
Yeah, no internet, no. And then also just Zach having to, like, there were people coming up and requesting music from him. And it was
It's
like,
you understand, I have no internet. Don't be looking
it's
at
what's
me
on the drive. That's
about
all I got.
not having your Luke Combs song. I don't have any internet service.
There is no internet.
So it just
just adds
it was nice to be disconnected in one regard, but when
Yeah.
you're trying to plan and facilitate and herd cats,
Yeah.
no internet, because there's so many times I'd reach for I got oh.
Yeah.
We need to fold napkins. We had to go someplace that had
yeah, we had to go back to the
internet
cabin.
to watch a video to how to fold napkins.
Because, we could not, neither one of us could remember how to fold.
A
I've
cute
seen
napkin.
a million different, and I've used to know how to fold napkins, but I couldn't remember. So, yeah.
My expensive shitters are still shitty.
The bathrooms.
So we paid a lot of money for a bathroom trailer that came.
Upscale bathroom trailer.
And again, it's kind of a cool concept. It's a trailer. I'm thinking that this would be a great business. Trailer pulls up, fully self-standing, has 4 bathrooms. Inside each bathroom has its own sink. I mean, it's big. You could change in there. It's not like what you think of porta potty. Flushing toilet that flushes by step on
actual water.
with actual
So
water.
you're not looking at other people's
a big mirror, air conditioned. There's a generator powering it.
Lights.
These things
Yeah.
were thousands and thousands of dollars. They arrived. They're put on the property. They had problems all night.
All night, yeah.
I don't know if it was the heat or what, but the doors were getting. People got stuck
In the bathrooms.
Multiple people got physically stuck in the bathrooms
Right.
and had to pound and scream for help.
And they were also the stairs going up to the bathrooms. The first step down
Was a doozy.
Like, I'm pretty sure your mom could not have done it.
Without a railing. I mean, that was like, think of the old school step things. It would have been like if you'd maxed out your step height.
Out your step height. Yeah. And so we did manage to find
The boys.
something. The boys found something.
The boys had to build
put
that the day before. They built a little step.
But there was only one little step. And then it was still
I'm
kind
surprised that isn't a liability for the bathroom people, quite honestly.
Yeah.
And then
Well, but it's
the
on your land, so.
Generator ran out of fuel, and so there was a time with the generator and the lights and that, so we had to have someone go fill that with gas. They didn't warn us that we needed more fuel. That should have lasted for our entire 7-hour event.
Yeah.
And then it ran out of water. And again, they didn't tell us that, you're probably going to have to fill this with water. And we told them how many people we had. And the property we were at didn't have an outdoor spigot. We had to find a really, really long hose connected to the kitchen. Someone had to hold it at the kitchen faucet while another person held it into the porta-johns. I mean, again,
who thinks about these things?
Thousands of dollars for these. It should literally be pull the crapper up, crapper goes away.
Yeah.
I wanted to, make
Throw
a little
down.
noise with the people, but I got the signal from Miranda. Now is not the time.
Yeah.
The Stephen Seagal. Now is not the time, Mom. And so I didn't. But just yes, maybe there's other companies that do a better job, but I was pretty darn disappointed in the quality of our high quality shitters.
Yeah. The high quality shitters, not so high quality.
And maybe other companies do a better job. And maybe because this was remote.
Yeah, it might have just been the remote factor but then why else would you ever need remote shitters? Or,
They were nice. I mean,
they were lovely.
When they were working, they were nice.
I think I used them once.
Yeah, I know, because I was so dehydrated.
I was so dehydrated, I didn't. Yeah. You would have thought with all I drank, I would have been down there every 5 minutes, but nope.
And then so the last thing I kind of want to say is I hate to say the word negative, but I'm disappointed in, and is not, and I don't necessarily blame the photographer. I'm pretty certain, well, I know with absolute certainty, I don't have a family picture.
Yeah.
My family, for the first time, was all together in 20, 30 years. And part of it was because when the medical emergency happened, it derailed a lot of things. And it was right in the middle of, we were supposed to do, okay, next up we're doing
Family
this.
photos,
And it was in the middle of the Merrills, and we hadn't gone, and so we don't even have the full group shot. There is no picture of me, Miranda, Brett, and Zach, and Ed.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
There will be no formal picture. If someone managed to take that and will eventually send it to me.
Did you even pose for that, though?
I know.
I don't think you did.
Part of it you could say, well, you're scurrying around. I could have been called to attention. There was no picture of the four of us.
Yeah.
Elle,
yeah.
Casey, Ed, and I, looking our most dapper.
I know. We were
Have
saying
nothing.
that we might have to plan an evening
We
out
might
where we
redress
wear our...
up, and we're
Yeah.
going to go to a nice restaurant.
Yeah, I did not get a picture of you and I together. I did not get a picture of Casey and I
My
together.
Aunt Deborah and Kelly and Kevin were there. So, you've heard me talk about this podcast and all the things I've been doing. Like, I'm going to be somewhere where I'm going to get pictures taken of me. I didn't get pictures taken of me.
I took a lot of pictures of people sitting at the table. So like, hey, look cute
good.
here. So I got some family photos of people, but they're sitting at the table, not like posed and looking good in their
And
little
like, as
outfit.
vain as it sounds, it's like, okay, I'm like freaking the mother of the bride. I should have been like called upon by multiple people to be like, hey, get in here, we got to do this. But my biggest regret is we had an extended family of which some of these people are not spring chickens. I don't know when we're ever going to have that picture.
I did call you into the Schultz photo. You were,
Yes.
but see, we should have thought of that with your family as well. Like, why did we not get your family in together?
Collapse and all, I think, really derailed a lot of things.
It would have been hard to get Miranda and Brett over there, but they were over there a few times. So I don't know. It's just an oversight, and it was sad.
Was disappointed. Do I blame the photographers? Not necessarily. Do I blame myself a little bit? But then at times, like,
You have no one to blame but yourself.
Yeah. The thing that I was really looking forward to in this wedding was getting some great family pictures. I don't think I have it. I'm not gonna have any.
Well, it was funny as I was going through, I uploaded my photos to the 300 photos that are online, and I was like, I'm in one of these. This is it. This is all I get. I'm all the time I spend to get ready, and I'm like, what the hell? And I realized I don't post the camera at myself. You know, Casey has a few that weren't up there, but like, yeah, we just don't do that.
The one person who was a real shutterbug, well, she was shutterbugging her family and the Merrills. She's not our
She has a
number
ton
one,
of pictures.
not our number one fan.
She has a ton of pictures of her family. So do I. I took pictures of her family. She did not reciprocate. So
maybe some will emerge, but I can tell you from looking at looking at the 300 some odd pictures, I am not in very many
hardly
of them,
in any of them.
considering I'm the mother of the freaking bride.
I did find one with you and I, but it also has Zach and Colleen in it. So yeah.
But like, we don't have one of you and I and Ed and Casey all looking very dapper.
I know.
And poor Zach is hardly in any because he was working his ass
the whole
off.
time. Yeah.
So, because there's a cute one of you and I when you finally did come and take a break for food and sat next to me. We have that one picture.
Oh, that's good.
That I think Kevin took. So I would label that my biggest regret of the wedding was not being more cognizant about the thing that I really wanted.
Because that was a huge thing. That was why you spent so much time with your dress and why you spent so much time with your hair.
Be in pictures.
You're like, these are pictures that are going to last a lifetime, and then you're not even hardly in any.
Yeah,
So
in the beginning, there's a couple of them with me and Miranda and Brett in the one wedding dress. And then we had a few, and then like somehow Mom and Jim jumped in on a few, but like Deb wasn't in any of those.
Yeah.
And then Judy collapsed,
I get a
and then
cute.
it kind of went to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah.
So a little bit bummed about that. That's what I would call the
regrets.
The regret.
Yeah.
And then we came up with kind of a short list of things we bought or planned for that we really could have skipped.
Yeah.
And one of them was fresh flowers. Now, part of the fresh flowers was because the torrential winds precluded them from being on, and we were on tables, the whole vases flew.
Yeah, there were 3 to 4 vases on every table of little dried flowers.
And then we had
and
fresh
even
flowers.
those were down the whole time. You could not even have
So
any.
the hundreds of dollars we spent on fresh flowers, total waste.
Those were just over on the barrels, like the drink barrels, and they
and
were
the bar,
all down.
and it just got in the way. And then the surroundings were so pretty. We really didn't need flowers.
you didn't need flowers. It was so pretty in the
need
meadow
flowers.
with the mountain. The mountain in the meadow.
Could have saved some money there. And the other one was a cheap thing she added because it had a really cute Pinteresty picture that just did not work with the wind, was bubbles. She brought these little bubble wands that people were supposed to take and blow bubbles.
I think after the ceremony, I ended up blowing bubbles and it went right into somebody's eye.
Yeah. It was fraught.
Really bad idea. Oh, and then spending time on the...
Yes, and the other thing, very Pinteresty, which again, on Pinterest looks dynamite, for the confetti, Ed and I spent 5 hours gathering leaves and punching out heart-shaped leaves to put along with a little bit of birdseed in the bag that was the thing you throw when they were walking down after you pronounced you man and wife. It should have just been birdseed. Yeah, maybe when people poured in their hands, they're like, oh, those look like they're heart-shaped.
Well, I didn't even notice it, and I was aware that you did spent all that time. So you did not really notice that there was anything but birdseed in there.
5 hours. Now,
Yeah.
granted, I was binging Netflix and Bridgerton and whatever.
Yeah.
But a lot of time spent on something that was a complete waste.
Yeah, that was a waste of time.
But the
Nice
birdseed
idea,
video,
bad
yeah.
execution.
And
or
she was
bad-
like, but the birdseed was in our hair and all that, but it better than rice because then the birdies
Yeah.
could
Exactly.
eat it.
Did I ever tell you when I took my mom's wedding dress apart, because I was originally going to reconstruct my mom's wedding dress. There was rice in it. It was so cute.
In the bodice.
I sent it to my mom. I was like, look, Mom, there's rice from your wedding.
So I think that about sums it up. I am looking forward to now just not having the wedding be in the back of my mind. I've had a notebook on my nightstand for months where I wake up in the middle of the night, oh, let's write that down, and just making lists and constant lists and all of that stuff. I mean, it was necessary, but I'm sleeping better now.
Yeah.
And we just went to play cards with one of our girlfriends who's doing the wedding at their property in 6 weeks, I think.
Yeah,
it is.
early August.
And she's like, I got to know what your goods and bads are, and so I'm going to share some of. Ed's going to do a website for them. I also said that water. Just encourage people. Just say the word water. Could you really do with a water? Have a water.
Have a tweener.
Yes, and those types of things. And what we spent money on.
Even
that
if you had
shouldn't.
bartenders, like the bartenders, we didn't have bartenders because the bartenders, unfortunately,
Their mother collapsed.
But even a bartender, like, here's your drink. Would you like water with that? Or,
Yes. We
somehow.
Could have done better.
Or go get a water as well, because the water was in a different place than the bar, right? That's would have been better to have
the bar was so
water by the
small.
bar.
And things like recommending the bundt cake was a big winner. Make that activity newspaper maybe. So a few of the big wins want her to do and what not to. She's doing it on her property where it will likely be windy.
Yep.
And so
because it is windy here every day.
They'll need to be prepared for that.
Yeah.
Might help with some of the mics to have had like the little foamy thing might help her with that, but she's going to have problems because I think down on the lower end of the property there isn't service.
Power, yeah,
and there's no power. So she's got a few things to overcome.
But it's
so much better being there than it is remote. Because where we were at, something as simple as like we wanted to hang the disco ball. Where can we go to get this? Ed wound up going to a bait and tackle shop and getting like a fishing
filament,
to do it because that was the only thing that was close.
It's good to have it behind us because it was like really occupying a lot of our time and thought.
And you've heard us blab about it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure everybody, all the many listeners are probably sick of hearing about this wedding.
Overall, Miranda, it was what they wanted. She says it was a dream come true. They left for Costa Rica 2 days ago. They're there for 9 days. So the corgis are with us in case you've heard them on the call here. We're watching the corgis, which is going to be so interesting because 4th of July is next week and dogs hate
fireworks.
Everybody stop buying your own freaking fireworks because they've been going off every day. People are doing their self fireworks. So it's not just like one day I have to worry about.
I wish cities would go with those drone things. The drones are so awesome
So
and
cool.
they don't scare animals. They're not fire hazards. Around here they should outlaw fireworks. It's really is
they
dangerous.
do, but no one gets. They buy them and with they're incendiary devices.
Yeah,
and we're in like dry,
high
but like
fire
last night,
damage.
had the windows open, the whole house fan going. Someone's lighting things off, but then I heard that was maybe a gunshot.
I know,
but
we heard that. But oh well,
fireworks going off. So this next couple weeks are going to suck having the dogs because they just get so scared.
Yeah.
Like,
well, they're just together. They're a lot. 4 dogs is a lot of dogs. I love dogs, but 4 dogs is a lot of dogs, especially the little corgis. The corgis are barky, and they get Rory barking, so you end up with a lot of barky dogs.
And this was for Riker's first time being boarded, and he was lonely. He was
did
missing
not like
Mama. The people watching him did a great job, but she admitted he was going on a hunger strike. He was just mopey. He was constantly
Didn't he have
looking
a little
for me.
stress diarrhea?
Yeah, he had a little stress diarrhea, which literally resolved when he came home.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Is he fine?" He's fine. He ate and everything.
And you said he's been Velcro.
Oh my God, is he Velcro? He's probably right now like, oh, why am I not in this room?
Yeah.
So, again, good time was had by all. Glad I only have one daughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just glad I only have one daughter. I could see why your mom was emotionally
If Zach
drained.
gets married, it has to be somebody really low maintenance so that we don't have to go through this again.
We'll go on a cruise. We'll do a cruise wedding or...
It's the way to go. I highly recommend the location cruise wedding. Super easy.
So, soup of the show. I'm still recovering from food poisoning because on the way home from the event, we drove home Monday, went to Chipotle. I got a kid's meal. Now, Chipotle, I swear, is poisoned a lot of people. And
They're hit and miss in my book.
It takes a lot
I don't
for
love
me
Chipotle.
to have twitchy stomach, and Chipotle did it to me.
Yeah, we always say we have like the
Serious pretty
gut.
as iron gut as you possibly can.
Yeah.
So if I was been sick for the last couple of days, that pizza was some of the first solid food.
It's funny,
I've
I
eaten.
didn't feel great on Monday either, and I don't know what,
Yeah.
because we didn't eat anything the same. We left on Sunday.
It's definitely not the wedding food. This was
No, no.
Monday.
No, this was
Chipotle.
Monday.
So I am not even thinking about food. Couldn't even come up with a soup if you paid me.
like the idea of soup.
And book recommendation, kind of following in that same theme. I've been napping instead of reading. I have found myself I was exhausted to the core. And even
hi.
though, hi Stella,
I got a cat.
even though, I was sleeping at night when, our hotel rooms were decent, I just was exhausted to the core. It was long days. It was hot days. It was nerve wracking, wanting to make it well, that I've been napping.
We
instead
did
of
finish Project
reading.
Hail Mary, which is we've already recommended.
The Andy Weir book.
And I really I'm not a listener, but we listened to it on the way up and back. It's a great listen. That is a great
Long,
book to
so if you want
listen.
to have a long drive ahead of you.
Yeah.
Download it.
In fact, we started it on our trip to Santa Fe, and we finished it
your
on this
trip
one.
to that
Yeah, it's a great book.
Yes, and I really want that to. I mean, as good as The Martian was, I can imagine this one being so
This
much
would be
better.
a really good. I see Robert Downey Jr. as the main
main
Grace.
astronaut.
Yeah. It was good one. So
And of course, song living rent free in my head was Miranda and Brett's first dance song, which was the classic "Baby I'm Yours."
oh, baby,
But this was the remake by the Arctic Monkeys, right, Zach?
yeah. Which was
Yes.
a great. I think that is a great way
Take
to
a classic
do.
song.
Classic song, but done by a current band. If you're gonna pick a song for either your father, daughter, or your whatever, but a classic song that is redone is awesome.
Yes. And then her and her dad danced. I think we might have said this before, but to Tom Petty's "You Belong Among the
Which
Wildflowers."
I have that in my head. Yeah.
And that it suited because when we were in a field, there was a meadow, and yes, that was.
That's a good song.
I'm looking forward to seeing the picture because I know the photographer was getting some great pictures of that.
Yeah. I think I got a few, but they're blurry because they were so far away and it was starting to get dark. So all my
and I've seen
pics
some
are-
videos that people have sent me of that, and yeah, I'm so glad he had his hair there because it would have looked so much different if he didn't have the hair on.
Yeah,
Because he doesn't look like himself without the hat on. And
My song was Cyndi Lauper's She-Bop. And we were dancing. That you and I didn't dance together much, but we danced
we
to
were
that one
dancing
together.
to
So that was
She-Bop,
fun.
and we're showing Miranda our Gen X moves.
Yes, we were
And
doing.
she's like, so I do this, I do this.
Yes, it was very fun.
Yeah,
The dancing was fun. We had a lot of fun dancing.
Unlike some weddings where there's always like droughts on the dance floor,
There were no droughts.
There were more people than could fit on the dance floor, and so they were dancing around the edges. The dance floor was always crunking.
Yeah, and I was dancing. I was dancing with myself. Yeah, absolutely dancing with myself because I think you got tired at one point, and Casey wasn't out there the whole time. He danced with me a little bit, but I just was like, oh, I love this song. It was dancing.
We
the
even
whole
had
time.
some country line dancing for our country folk because that's not Miranda and Brett's genre.
That was when I sat down.
And there was several other, couple country songs playing that people were doing. Had the Sweet Caroline.
Oh, yeah.
Had the Crowd Pleasers. Did a conga type line with the.
Oh, that's right. We
the
did
end of
do
the
a
night with the
conga.
light sticks, and yeah, it was.
It starts to get blurry for me towards the end of it. I really had
for us sober people.
one too many margaritas.
Who remember what was up? And then our DD system worked great. So
Yeah.
said no one got hurt. Miranda was like, my last thing is, did everyone make it home safe? Not only the night of, but those who traveled. Our furthest traveler was my girlfriend Colleen, who came all the way from
And she was kind
New
of our
Jersey.
buddy. We took her to and brought her back to the hotel, and
She came early.
hung
She
out with
came
her.
on Wednesday, made a whole trip of it.
Yeah.
And it was
She was
great
a
to
lot of
see
fun.
her. She's known
Shout out
Miranda.
to Colleen because I think she listens.
Yes.
Although she'll hear this in another month because she says she's not listening that frequently, but
Yeah.
yeah, she was a lot of fun. We enjoyed meeting her.
Yes, and she's known Miranda since she was little, and we lived in Monterey and knows Zach, and went on a cruise with Brett and Miranda. So it was really awesome to have her come. She came the farthest.
Yeah,
Came the farthest.
your oldest friend.
Well, that's it. I think that's the most you're going to have to hear ever again talking about wedding.
Yeah.
Unless we get involved helping Joe.
Yeah.
But I am breathing a sigh of relief. Super happy for my daughter.
Pretty
They're
much done.
finally married.
Now we're ready to okay. In fact, we kind of screwed ourselves. We planned on doing this summer, some sort of summer trip.
And we didn't plan it.
We didn't plan it.
And now it's almost July.
And now, I can't get my cat sitter when Dylan's available, and Dylan's going to see her dad. So we're not going to be able to do it.
We're going to have to carve
Casey and I are
something out.
probably going to go, but not with you guys.
We got to at least carve some fun out of July 4th because we got a long weekend
I
coming
know,
up.
a long weekend coming up. That'll be fun.
And it's going to be hot.
It's going to be hot. That's the problem. Is
And we've got great fake bakes. By the way, our combination of real sun and fake bakes are looking dynamite.
Yeah, we are.
I was really happy.
I got
how we
lots of
looked in
compliments
pictures.
in the photos. You look
the
great.
few photos that we have of each other.
Yeah. Exactly.
I
I was happy with how I looked because I look shitty in photos. I do not photograph well, and I was like, oh, I actually look pretty good. So I must have done something right.
Take something you think, oh, my arms don't look too flabby. Things are, but there's only one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm wearing
exactly.
sunglasses. Oh well.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh well. All right. Well, I'm Elle,
And I'm Dylan.
and we both love soup.